Happy July.
Thank
Hope you guys are looking forward to a wonderful July 4th. My name is Sandy Golding. I'm president of Beaches Watch. And for those of you who aren't familiar with it, Beaches Watch was founded in 2004, so we're 11 years old. We're a nonprofit, nonpartisan civic organization, and our focus is educating and engaging citizens in the issues that come before our local governments. So tonight we have a really good topic, but before we get to that, I want to call your attention to the agenda. Hope you got a copy of it when you came in. On the back is numbers for our elected officials, so you can contact them if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. Also, on the agenda, a few things I'd like to point out is we do videotape our meetings, so you can go online to our website or to our YouTube page, and we've got the address for the YouTube page to see any of our previous meeting videos. And also, July 4th fireworks are 9 o'clock this Saturday in Jacks Beach. Along those lines, next month at the August 5th meeting, we will have a police panel like we do every year, and they'll be the police chiefs from Atlantic Beach, Neptune Beach, and Jacksonville Beach talking about July 4th, how it went, what we experienced, and what they think will need to be done next year. But a nice recap, and it's always a really good meeting, so we hope you guys plan to come for that. Also, there will be a beach cleanup the next morning from 7 to 9 at the beach. We've got information about that. As you know, there's always a lot of trash on the beach after July 4th, so we hope that you guys will consider getting up bright and early and helping clean up the beach. And then Beaches Watch is hosting the Atlantic Beach Candidate Forum because there are Atlantic Beach elections this year, and the election is August 25th. We're going to have our candidate forum on Thursday, August 6th, which is going to be at the Atlantic Beach Elementary School. So we hope you guys will plan to attend that. And then also there's an Atlantic Beach Town Hall meeting on the 20th of July from 6:30 to 8 at Jordan Park Community Center. So it's another good opportunity to be involved. We hope you guys will plan to attend that. And I already mentioned that our meeting August 5th will be the July 4th police panel, so at 7 o'clock in this room. Tamara, do you want to Tamara has an announcement because there's going to be a meeting Monday night as well?
Yes, real quickly. Good evening. There will be an informational meeting on the repairs and construction at this library on Monday, July 6th at 6 p.m. Council members Bill Williford and John Crescendany will be here. Doors will open to the public at 5:30, and I hope to see everyone here.
Okay, thank you. Any other announcements anyone has?
Sandy, I'm
Yes.
not sure of the details, but I also heard that there's a second beach cleanup late Sunday evening.
Oh,
I just want to look for today's paper. I don't, nothing else about it. About town section, just had a one paragraph thing.
I know they usually do it in the morning because they worry about the tides coming in
I
and
gather they're
bringing
doing too.
trash back out.
Maybe a lot of people there Sunday, Thursday.
Okay. All right, well, yeah. Do you have any, you don't have any details?
Just for some paper.
Okay. All right, so now on to our topic for tonight, which is the Jacksonville Beach Pier. I want to thank Flan Sharp, former mayor of Jacksonville Beach, who's here tonight, for bringing this picture from the ribbon cutting back in 2004. A little bit of history. And that's when the pier was looking really good. So tonight's topic is about the issues that are going on with the pier. And we have Jacksonville Councilman Bill Gulliford here, and also Mayor Charlie Latham from Jacksonville Beach. And they'll be talking to us about the issues, and you guys feel free to ask them questions, but they'll be giving us an update on what's going on with the pier. So the floor is yours.
Mayor, I think that I noticed the crowd is a little light. Is that because you're speaking? Because I'm speaking. It's probably. Yeah, probably. Well, good evening. The This is going to be the Charlie and Bill show. And we're going to talk a little bit about the pier, and I bet we're going to, since Val walked in, I bet we might even talk about the ferry a little bit too, and that's probably worthwhile, because I'm sure all of you are aware that the governor decided opted to cut $1 million that was in the state budget for the ferry. But we might want to dwell on that just briefly in a minute. But in the meantime, we have a problem. Everybody, I'm sure, that's been out there understands that we have a problem with our pier. It's a county asset. It's a city asset, but it is in so many instances of things related to the beach or at the beach. It's sort of out of sight, out of mind. And I can tell you that from questions I've had asked of me on the council, there are certainly some council members that really believed or did believe that the pier is owned and operated by the city of Jacksonville Beach. But now they understand it's not. We have about $800,000 worth of repairs that are needed, folks. And I can't tell you right now that money has been targeted. Right before the Brown administration went limp on us and left, or got ready to leave, I had found $400,000. So we were talking about maybe doing it in 2 stages. I hope that with a little negotiations with Mr. Musso, that we might be able to come up with the other $400,000 in this year's budget and get things done right. And frankly, and Charlie and I were talking about right before, I just can't believe that there isn't a better option than wood decking with all the materials that are available today. And the story that's told is that they want to use wood in case of a storm, allows it to break away and not damage the integrity, the structural integrity of the pier itself. And I understand that, but I would think that would be a function of hardware more than actual wood versus something else. So that's something I really want to look into, because it would be nice to have something that would last a long, long time. Part of the deterioration, premature deterioration out there too, was the fact that they did not use stainless hardware on anchoring the pier of wood. So that wasn't very smart, but that was probably counties that designed that, so they don't understand those kinds of things. Anyway, that's my little spiel. And the reason Charlie's here is that we've been talking to the city of Jacksonville Beach about the pier in general and the appearance, and it sort of looks like they're going into a prison. And they've drawn Jacksonville Beach has come up with some designs for entryway. I'll let Charlie talk about that. But I think we want to make this a joint venture between the county and the city of Jacksonville Beach to make improvements beyond just redecking.
Well, a few things to add. Number one is we're certainly very blessed to have Bill represent our interests in Jacksonville. For us to come directly to him with our concerns and have him rally behind the old beaches is a great thing for all of us. But we, as you know, most of you, we work long and hard on a downtown action plan, we call it, but it actually involves the entire city. And one of the things that we are looking at is a complete facelift of the pier. And we've taken models from the Navy Pier in Chicago, the Santa Monica Pier, the one in Pier 5 in San Francisco. So we're looking at all these different piers, first to make it a very nice place. And that's kind of where our responsibility financially comes to an end, is the entrance into there. And then we go back into the Jacksonville property. I think we also put the last 300 feet in, if I'm not mistaken, to 300 yards.
I don't know.
That was something that George set up so that
You have to ask Plan to get answers.
That's right.
Yeah, we put the end of the pier on.
Yeah.
Bob Marshall wanted it to be that long, so Bob got what he wanted.
So there you go. The pier is it's an asset to the city and to the city of Jacksonville Beach, and we've got thankfully this relationship with Bill, so we can be pretty frank about it. Let's talk basics, because I've gotten a couple of emails from people saying, why doesn't Jacksonville Beach just take over the pier? Well,
Yeah, why don't you?
well, let me.
We can make a deal with you, Charlie.
We, as you folks probably are aware, for every dollar you pay in ad valorem taxes, 50 cents goes to the Duval County School Board, 30 cents goes to the city of Jacksonville, and 20 cents goes to Jacksonville Beach. So when we make this payment to Jacksonville every year, there are certain things that we expect in return, and this is one of them. Maintenance of the pier is going to be a fairly expensive venture, and it's something that's certainly not in our budget in Jacksonville Beach to cover. So it is really important that we work with the city of Jacksonville. We went out and took a look at it. George and I went out and looked at the pier several times. As a matter of fact, I went out this weekend and took some pictures, but I neglected to bring my laptop, so I thought there might be one here. But go out and take a look. Vera's back there. She's out there every day, and she'll tell you that, you know, there have been some patches put up. A lot of the really bad patches around plywood are gone. And now there's a lot of 2x4s out there, a little bit lipped up so that they're trip hazards. These are things that we have to fix, but we have to look at the long-term fix and what we're going to do to get it cleaned up. So after we took a look, we went over and called Bill, and Bill was kind enough to arrange a meeting with the Parks Director and a couple of people from the accounting group for the City of Jacksonville, the finance group. And we started to look at what it was going to take to keep the pier up and running. And of course, as you know, we had an inauguration for a new mayor and sheriff today. So there's a changing of the guard. The great news is the constant is sitting to my left and your right. You know, Bill is going to be looking out for us, and we're going to work together to do what we can to make it as much a destination as possible. And you know, we'll talk to Vera and the folks that are out there about, you know, some of the other visions that we have are peer-oriented or peer events where we actually have functions out on the pier at night, and you know, things of that nature. And that's all included in our action plan. Things that you're probably familiar with. So, do you have anything you want to add, or you want to start?
No, I think that that's important that we, you know, we're being reactive. We have a physical problem with it. Are you stalking me, John Nooney? Get out of here. This guy right here is always at every city council meeting, and he always makes public comment. I will not accept public comment at this meeting, and that's why. I just want everybody to know. Nooney, be quiet and sit in the back, in the corner. The reality is we're being reactive to the physical problem we've got with the pier, but I think we need to be proactive and start utilizing it as a real asset. I think that what's been lost is the oversight. And again, you've got the people in town responsible for oversight, but really they're not engaged. And we were talking about in this meeting that Charlie referenced, we talked about some proactive steps we might take. For instance, wouldn't a kids fishing tournament once or twice a year be a great thing out there and really drive some interest? There are a number of things we could do. The amenities could be improved. It's awful hot out there. There's no shade. There's no provision for anything to protect people from the sun on hot days. So beyond just fixing it or repairing it, I think there's some things we could do to improve it. I'd kind of even like to see maybe a Friends of the Pier organization, a grassroots organization that popped up to promote it. We have people that are operating it right now that are not from this area. I don't say that's necessarily a bad thing always, but they're remote and they're out of the city, and I'm not so sure it wouldn't be better to have it operated by people that have somewhat of a vested interest in it. That's why I was joking in a way, but not really, about the City of Jacksonville Beach operating it. I'd like to see somebody operate it as long as the City of Jacksonville is financially responsible for maintenance, et cetera. Maybe there's some way we can structure it to do it better, and I think that that's going to be important as we address this thing. So.
Well, the great thing is that that's something that we're always open to discussing, even because we've got this great relationship with our councilman downtown. That's something that we can look at. So.
Well, one of the big advantages I've gotten this year, especially with a incoming new mayor and of course Sam Musa as chief administrative officer, they generally will cater to the finance chairman, and I got to be finance chairman this year, so you have a little more leverage when you're in that position. I hope we get some money out of them, get the whole $800,000 out of them. It's going to be a priority. So we'll see. Questions? Oh, the hands go up.
I know we're talking about the place mostly, and we've been out there a number of times, and the
Charlie's
place that
not a fisherman, is he?
temporarily. No, I spoke to a friend of ours who's a fisherman the other day, and I said, but at the end of the pier, the railing has actually fallen off, and it seems to be just kind of patched up. And number one, I was wondering, he said, don't worry about it, it'll be fine. That's a fisherman's view. You know, he's not going to fall in, so he's not worried about it. But what do we plan to do as far as timing? What could we do about it?
Our problem is this, and Charlie references this transition that's going on to a new mayor and a new administration. And of course, I still don't know, for instance, if the public works director is being retained or not. I haven't gotten that word. I know some of the people are being retained. I know who they are, and some of the new ones that have been announced. So for the next, and the council is is on recess up until July the 20th, so there's not a whole lot going on probably till beginning of August. I'd like to see the next meeting with whomever they select as Public Works Director as well as Head of Parks and Recreation to come out to the pier and let's meet on the pier and walk the thing. That's the better way to, there's nothing like putting your hands on it, and so that's the better way. That's what I'm going to pursue. And then we'll address things like we were bringing up.
And Colin and I were talking before the meeting, he brought that up as well, and I saw that the hardware that's out of sight is decrepit and needs to be replaced. And as Bill said, I think we had a first walkthrough, $800,000 estimate to get it where it should be safe and comfortable for everybody. Part of the process that we're looking for, though, at the same time is, as Bill said, how do we develop the pier so that it becomes more multifunctional and not just a place to fish, but maybe have get-togethers at night or a dance like the old days when you have a dance on the pier, things of that nature. So there might be some additional changes made as well.
Hey, Rick, is that hammerhead that Blackie caught off the end of the pier still a record?
I have no, Flan would probably know, he was the
That's all right, I was looking at you too. And he's sitting right behind you, the other Rick.
Yes, it is.
Still there. Is there a plaque up anywhere on that?
Not a plaque, and the largest kingfish ever caught, including all the kingfish tournaments that are held here. The largest one came off the pier.
You need to give me that information. Maybe we can get a couple plaques put up out there that recognize that. Because that was, how big was that hammerhead? You were going something? I know it's
14
14 something.
How big it was.
But how heavy was it?
We got a picture of it and all that
I want to
stuff.
say, that didn't take away.
It went when the pier went.
Really?
Yeah.
It was 800 pounds roughly.
Yeah.
Boston's racer.
What do you want?
No, Harriet.
Harriet?
Letting people go on that pier, isn't that a liability if somebody kills, dies, or
Well,
Here's the good news.
are you letting people?
Jacksonville's problem. Harriet, don't bring up that kind of stuff. Jacksonville right now is run by risk
I mean,
management in the
is it
office of
open?
council.
Is it open to the public?
Absolutely. If you got money to go out there, it's open.
Wasn't that dangerous?
I don't think it's in a dangerous condition. I think it's in a condition that needs an update, and, you know, the safety of the rails are certainly important. They've got 2x4s, they got rid of all the plywood that was out there, and they've got 2x4s in there now that are, you know, making it further sturdy. I think, you know, is it dangerous as you walk on it today? It's probably not, but we need to work quickly to get it restored so that it's just very safe.
Mr. Rick.
Okay, I'm going to stand up. Excuse me, I'm going to be a little lengthy because I took time to walk this afternoon,
Good.
and Bill and Charlie both know I've worked for a quality contractor for 44 years. It's not this type of work, but some of it overlaps. Bill, the biggest thing I noticed is some of the repair that's been going on, there's no consistency in spec. I noticed stainless steel bolts in some of the new repair, back to hot dip galvanized in the other. The hand, you know, there again, me being quality control for so many years on job sites, I don't know who we used as an engineer and for specifications. They probably use a normal spec to assemble a pier, but there's better ways to do it. Your $800,000 for the repair, I'd like to see what they base that on, because I know on a lot of the handrails, a lot of the problem is they didn't pre-drill the handrail itself. So when they went in, screw went so far, after years of moisture expansion contraction, causes splits. That causes all the time, that's normal. But there again, with pre-drilling, it would lessen the problem. The next thing I noticed is the way the boards were turned. The majority of them is turned correctly for decking, but I did notice some that wasn't turned correct for decking, and that's from the original construction.
Right.
So my biggest concern is the fact that when we go back and fix it, let's do it the right way. And it's back and forth, $800,000 is, gee whiz, I don't know if it would do it the way Rick Knight and W.W. Gabriel wanted it done. You know, but we're foolish to do it any other way.
The problem is, problem we have as a council is that we set policy and we provide the money. Unfortunately, many times we can't influence the specifications and the directions. At least that's not been the case the last 4 years. Hopefully in the next, just to give you a case in point, probably all of you are aware that they just opened the old Hayden Burns Library as DuPont Trust Center, and it's full of nonprofit offices. It's a beautiful, if you get a chance to go down there, you need to go in. And any of you that remember going to the old Hayden Burns Library, you're going to be blown away by the way this place looks inside. They did a fabulous job with it. About the same time that they were talking about doing that, I got money advanced or appropriated to renovate 2 floors of the Florida Theater office building. For those of you not aware, there's a 7-story office building right next to the Florida Theater that's completely empty. And my thought was, because Sherry McGill at DuPont told me that she was already turning away potential nonprofit tenants, my thought was, if this works on 2 floors in the Florida office building, we can continue that and fill the whole building up with arts and arts nonprofits, educational nonprofits, et cetera, cut their lease rate to get them downtown, and it would be good because they'd be adjacent to DuPont Center. We still haven't finished. We still haven't done the work. I mean, it's been 2 years. That's the kind of stuff that frustrates the dickens out of me. And the same thing with, and that's my biggest hope with the Curry administration is, and they've made the verbal commitment, that they'll start getting things done. Nothing happens. It's always manana.
That brings up something else. A construction manager contacted us, and I went down there and surveyed the mechanical systems. And I found out, when I went down there, it's back to, it scares me that the city does not have qualified people when they go out and do these surveys of what needs to be done I can't remember the name right now, but to bring things up to where it needs to be. They had a brand new cooling tower and they wanted to tear it out. You know, I say brand new. They had a fuel tank that had never been used. You know, and so it just scares me, the fact who is doing this for the city.
Well, I hope we get better. We're going to make sure we exert as much influence as we can to make sure we get better.
Okay.
But thanks for your comment. Sally?
Mine is on his coattail because I'm wondering, when was the $8,000 suggested needed, and who did the work to tell us it was $800,000? And could you get an outside person to do another estimate?
Well, we knew we had a problem. I asked them to give me an estimate of what they thought, and Public Works came up with that. How they came up with the number, I don't know, but they said that would cover it. I mean, for me to go looking for funds, I've got to have an estimate of some kind, and that's what they gave me. So I can't tell you salary accurate.
Salary process also involves an RFP and
Yeah.
qualifications of bidders, and there's the actual bid amounts for the work when it came time. It's not just an estimate that somebody throws out there.
See, one of our other problems that you may not be aware of, the structure of consolidated government, is we're unique with respect to, say, the way the city of Jacksonville Beach or the other beach communities operate and the way other counties operate. Typically, in the bid process, the elected body has oversight on the awarding of bids. In the consolidated city of Jacksonville, the council does not. I have a real problem with that, frankly, but that's a whole different story. So we don't necessarily, we can't exert much influence on procurement, spec writing, or anything like that, or the actual awards of bids. So I don't, as I said before, I don't like that structure. We'd have to change the charter to do that, Mr. Bench.
Bill, you mentioned a minute ago another project's been 2 years. What happens if the 2015-16 council approves $800,000 and it takes till 17 to do it? Is that money frozen?
Yeah.
Or
It's appropriated for a project.
Does it come out of this year's budget or the next, or it's just?
It'll carry over. If we appropriate it this year's budget, it carries over into the next as committed funds. Charlie? Good to see you.
I would like to bring up a couple of things.
Happy birthday, Charlie.
And I'm an engineer like Rick is, and I feel the same way that he does. And Charlie, I've talked to you about this before. Now that pier, my wife and I get down that pier, that's in terrible shape. Now,
the pier 2004? I just figured out that it's 11 years old this year. And the studs that hold that, the steel. Steel is not going to survive in that length of time. And the wood, I don't think the wood is a good quality wood to have put into that pier. The cement's going to be there a long time. But the wood decking and the steel is ruining it. The steel rusts, and when it rusts, it expands. And when it expands, it splits the wood. That's common knowledge to people like us. But I think we have to, you talk about $800 to fix it. If we would put $300,000 or $400,000 into it when it was being built, we wouldn't have this problem today. You know, that pier would last 50 years or more. Now, another good example is, going back in history, the old City Hall, okay? Now,
I done some surveying down there too, Charlie.
okay, yeah, it was falling apart. 25 years they knocked it down, and they built a new one. And they interviewed the architect in the newspaper, and he says, I designed that building to last for 75 years, but the city has to maintain it. They don't maintain it. They let the roof leak and they put a bucket under it. And that's the stories I get as a citizen, just walking around town and talking to people like Rick here, and you, and a lot of other people that are in the knowledge of why don't we maintain and what we have and plan ahead a little bit. And they're still building buildings. I'm in the geothermal business, as you know, and our machines will last 35, 40 years. And you still build buildings today at Joshua Beach, and you put old air source machines in them that are on a beach will last 5 to 10 years.
Pier.
Now, they got...
The pier?
Yeah, oh, get back to
That's the reason I didn't drink gin.
Right, Charlie, you just been told to take it back.
Yeah, I'm serious now. What he's saying, you need qualified people. If you don't have qualified people, ask us. I mean, we live here. We're paying the bills. We live here, we pay taxes. And we'd be glad to go out and tell you what you need to do to make these things last. I think I'm done.
Yeah.
And I work cheap.
and he went cheap, and I'm on the same level as he is.
I gotta say one thing, Charlie, in defense of the city. You know, George Forbes just finished his 20th year for the city of Jacksonville Beach. George's motto is, we're not gonna build it unless we're gonna keep it nice. And,
Yeah.
and we do that.
Yeah.
And, you know, we don't have any buckets that I know of in either city.
No, we don't.
You know, they did some real good upgrades when they built City Hall and made it so that it should last a long time. I can't answer the air movers because I didn't know what was available back then. But, you know, George has done a really good job. Now, the pier, as you know, that's not our problem, and that's why we're building the city of Jacksonville. It's our problem, but it's not our ownership. And that's why
You think you got problems in Jacksonville Beach, you ought to see the lack of maintenance throughout the city. I mean, it's just abominable. My district used to cover all of the southeast part of the county, and including the southeast regional library. They had ignored the roof leak for 2 years. The whole back wall of the library had turned black from mold, and it damaged a whole bunch of books in the back. And nobody took care of it. I fussed pretty loud on that one, but we've fought with problems. Look at Liberty Street, that's just collapsed. Nobody's touching that one yet, but that's gonna be a huge cost to us, because we don't do any maintenance, haven't been doing any maintenance. Nobody does maintenance because that doesn't get you votes. You know, maintenance is.
We do.
Jacksonville Beach does great maintenance. Road maintenance.
We have, just so everybody knows, we've got a capital improvement fund that we use so that we project in advance for big replacement items. And we're constantly working on the underground utilities and replacing old concrete with new materials. So Jacksonville Beach has been for years, been very proactive about it.
And Atlantic Beach was too, and I think still is, but Jacksonville, thank God for Lori Moyer, she has taken that bull by the horns, and the CIP committee is moving in that direction, forcing that we do the maintenance of things properly, and we replace them in proper time. But we're getting off the pier right now. So, Sally,
Well, on my same question, maintenance is under Public Works. And I get the idea from you that Public Works is the one that comes out and tells us we need $800,000. how do I trust them?
It's a conflict maybe.
Well, the guy running Public Works is an engineer named Robinson. I imagine that they got some kind of estimate. I don't know, Sally. I can't tell you, but I can tell you this much. If they give me a number and we appropriate the money and it runs over, I'm going to be looking to hang somebody. So we have to trust them. We don't have another vehicle. The ideal situation would be to maybe be able to get a group of, maybe Curry would buy into this, that we get some technical volunteers to make suggestions before they draft their specs. Maybe we can do that. That's about as far as we can probably go in influencing that. But we'll see. We'll do the best we can.
Rick Hale, you had your
You just extended the contract to September for the current group. Is that going to be the last extension? And
Yeah. If I've got anything to say about it, but again, that's under the purview of the administration. I will talk to Sam Musa about that, and I'd like to see not only a new bid, new RFP, but I want to see some changes in the RFP. I think we need to look at fee structure. I don't think we've got proper accounting for watching where that money is going. The money has been going into the general fund instead of a maintenance fund. We will set up a maintenance fund to flow those revenues into a maintenance account for the pier, specifically restricted for the pier. So a number of things we got to do. When he calms down a little bit, I'm going to talk to Sam Booth at length about that.
Can we get a copy of the current contract?
Sure, if you call Stan, he's off this week, but call Stan next week and we'll get you a copy.
Keep in mind too, October 24th and 25th is the air show. And
Yes.
Vera will probably tell you that's probably the most crowded the pier is going to be. And certainly, we mentioned that to Bill in our meeting. He's going to do his best to try to get some of the obvious work that needs to be done completed before then if possible, so.
One brief comment, Bill, taxing on him. Very seldom when I paid $1 to go out there just to look at it and see what's going on, does it get rung up?
What?
Does it get rung up in the cash register?
Yes, it does.
It does.
Yes,
It didn't today. It didn't today.
They didn't ring up my dollar either, the day I was out.
Well, do you want to give me your $1? You know, that's the right place.
We need 800,000.
I have no idea, but it didn't get rung up.
The lady was there to insure when you were there?
No, ma'am.
Well, I think it's something that we just, when we get into the specifications.
No, every sale is to be rung up, and the girls that are not doing that are being let go.
Okay, well,
That's been a problem since day one. When you have a cash business and it's all cash, that's been a problem.
I guarantee you
And I will-
75% of the time I've went up there, it's not been rung up when I purposely walked slowly away to see if it's rung up.
Okay, because that's something that is a real problem when you have a business
Yeah.
like that, and that's something we've been fighting since day one.
I understand, and it's no money out of my pocket, but I mean,
Well, it causes a problem.
yeah,
because
it does.
There's
Yeah.
some that
A
do,
lot of
some that
problems,
don't.
but it causes a major problem because that can't happen.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question would be if we had a tropical storm or a hurricane and it did $800,000 of damage before October, would the city have insurance, emergency fund,
Self-insured.
or would it sit until?
No, we've got a reserve account set up. We're self-insured, but there will be money available to fix in that situation.
We can hope that.
So in the city of Jackson Beach, it's the same way, we've got a fairly substantial reserve set aside, almost exactly for what you said. for
So
police
damage
or-
would get quickly
Yes, sir.
repaired, let's
Eradicated.
say.
Well, it wouldn't be restricted because of lack of money. I mean, you might not be able, if it was bad enough, you might have trouble getting to the pier to repair it. So it may not be as expeditiously as you might want it to be done.
Me? Okay. My sister lives down in Flagler Beach, and they have a very nice pier there, and they sell planks, I think, for like $100 a piece, where they just engrave a little something into it, kind of like they have in Atlantic Beach with the bricks. Similar idea. And I like the idea of the Friends of the Pier, and that is like we just moved here a year ago. When I lived here 40 years ago, I went on the pier and fished a little. But this time, I just like to walk out there, and I do enjoy it. But people bring their little kids out there, and what you were saying, the liability, I mean, God forbid there's a lawsuit, forget the 800,000. I mean, you were talking like a major something, just as a reminder, kind of. And then these were the information things like the walkout, how much they charge, and for everything else. And maybe if we look at a closer pier, you know, that I think is very nice, you know, rather than the San Francisco pier. That's a little up.
We're just using.
I know, because in Miami, what I said on a lot of these committees, I love this Friends of the Pier idea, but when I sat on the committees and you see these grandiose ideas, and it does take 20 years or 30 years to actually get a roundabout done with the landscaping, and you know, and it looks real pretty eventually.
You ever been to the Florida State Prison?
No.
It looks just like the front of the pier does right now.
Well, okay, that was the other thing. I drove up that way and I looked, and when I walk out there, that gate, you're right. I mean, look, you see a prison picture and you have to get back out the gate. It could be prettier. And the other thing I was thinking, maybe recyclable materials. The only thing, we do have like this 100-degree heat down on it, and they sometimes warp. So you have to like find something that's got a little more, something in the recycling stuff, or brace it better.
They built some decking, for instance, over at JU, the marine science thing, out of composite material, and it's very impressive. I think
That's like looking for something else, because I walk out there and I wear my sandals, and you got the bolt, and you got like little holes around the wood, and like you were saying, you know, and I trip a little bit, not on purpose, but you know, I'm getting there. But it is kind of scary a little bit getting to the sides. But I do love it, and I do want to see it tie in with that whole downtown Jacksonville Beach idea. So that committee that you already have going, and then you tie in the Friends of the Pier part, get some of the fishing guys, you know, involved in it.
Hey, John Mooney, how about a kayak launch off the end of the pier?
See, it's a little drop.
Don't even start that.
I want to ask about fireworks, but I will say back in the late 80s, when I was going to take the CPAs there with a flag and going, my friends warned me to bring an umbrella. It didn't rain. That was funny, back in the 80s. But anyway, fireworks passed. Many years ago, we had the bump barges. I imagine we have it on the pier because the pier's there and it might be less expensive. People have been saying that the heavy equipment they brought last year caused more damage. What are we going to do going forward about the fireworks? I love fireworks.
Yeah. What are we going to do as far as where they're lit off?
Are we going to have it on the pier? Are we going to make them go
I don't
out
know
to
of
the
any
launch?
plans to change the location of the actual event, which is at the end of the pier. Vera, are you aware of any?
No, they are going to be done on the pier, and they are going to have a smaller vehicle to use to transport the materials to the end.
By
And
the
they will
way-
have to furnish their own
Was
parts.
that the
and
open
everything.
problem, just having
No.
equipment? Or
I haven't made, I asked that same question after the first round that we did in 2013, after the pause, and, you know, we had our fire chief go out and take a look at the pier and make an assessment, and said there was absolutely no structural damage or issues of concern. So it's one of those things we're going to continue to watch.
The other story that goes around is we're going to wait until after fireworks this year to do something about fixing the pier, because that way, if something happens with fireworks, that.
Your insurance might pay.
I don't think that was ever an issue. By the way, I want everybody to know that I've heard wonderful things about Vera and what she does as far as running that or operating the pier. I don't want any comment I might make about the current operators. I certainly don't want that to be a reflection of her, because she's been a real asset out there from everybody that I've talked to.
And I ride my bike down on the beach quite a bit on the weekends, and I go in and say hi to her and take her to the pier, and she's always been very friendly for me.
So Vera is going to be, whatever happens, even if another group took it over, Vera's going to be chained to the pier.
That's right.
How much money does come in receipt-wise?
You know, I can't remember. It's not a significant amount as far as I can recall, but again, there's no accounting for it as far as the city's concerned, because it just dumps right into the general fund, and it really should.
That was the first, Bill mentioned it earlier, but it was the first part of the meeting that we had to it. His recommendation was that money needs to go into a maintenance fund for the year. And so it's obvious that we've got a problem. It's obvious that we need to make a change, and thankfully we're working together to make that happen.
This is the last time you get to talk. Now, I beat on poor old John Mooney, but I just about put the hammer down on you.
I've already got my instructions from my wife. She said, make it short. I like the lady's idea about, we pay $100 and we can get a plank. And,
You buy the first
now, 25 or 28 years ago, I bought a brick up there in Atlantic Beach. Okay? That brick is still there. And that's going to be there for a long time. Now, if I think that we got to replace all the boards on the pier every 11 years, I don't think I'm going to give $100 to what this lady says, because it won't last.
But we'll see what we can do. Maybe there are other options, okay, Charlie? We'll work on it. You made your point.
Who else?
Anybody? And by the way, John Mooney, if you do want to say something, I kid around. John is one of those good public watchdogs. He attends a lot of meetings, and he sends out emails to council members on a regular basis, and a lot of times what he sends out makes sense. And so there are people like John that are valuable in the process. We don't always listen to him, and I try to stifle him as much as I can, but I like John a lot, and so it's nice to have him down here at the beach. See, he's a townie, but he's really great.
We'll give him a cousin to say.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sandy.
I don't want to gloss over this because what was mentioned before that Rick mentioned and then Sarah seconded it about the fees not being rung up. I mean, what can be done about that? Because it sounds like they may not know how much is really coming in, because if that's happening, some of that may not actually be going where it should be going.
Right.
So what can and will be done to make sure that...
I'm not the guy in charge of it, but I can tell you that there's about a $1,500 solution, and that's putting a camera on top of the register. And you know, there's things that can be done, and I can assure you we're not glossing over from our perspective the maintenance of the dollars that come in and where they're being accounted for and how they're being used.
I realize it's no reflection on Vera, I'm just saying that that's a problem, and so something, if I understood it correctly, something needs to be done to make sure that that's...
Well, I think, first of all, I think you got to look at the fee structure. I'm not sure that the fee structure is where it needs to be. I think there are other things you can do. For instance, you might want to sell discount ticket books to eliminate the cash at the gate, at least for some people coming through. The people that use it over and over again, why not get a little bit of a discount for their use and sell them a ticket book instead, much like what we do on the ferry. I mean, those are the kind of things that we need to talk about when we go out for the next RFP and before we get here.
Okay, I'm going to turn around here so they didn't have to turn backwards and come back. I'm going to address a couple of things. Number one, a lot of things have been said recently that a lot of you have no idea what goes on the pier. Pier has been open for 11 years. They had some problems with the pier. I've been there for 4 now. This is my 4th year. I'm a Jacksonville native. This is the 3rd pier that I've fished on in my life in Jacksonville. I had my children in the same hospital I was born in. Did not move to the beaches until 4 years ago. I don't know. I waited to get as old as I was in South. I was out here every weekend, and sometimes more than once a week, have deep roots here. But the pier issue that we're discussing now, there are cameras in the pier. There's 4 in the bait house at all times on. I'm going to be reviewing the tape from today to see who was on duty when you came through. It is a problem. There are passes available. There are a 25-trip ticket for walking for $15. It's a punch card. There's one for fishing that's $75 for 25 fishing trips. So there are things. Once a month, we have an activity that goes on for autistic children as part of the HEAL group with Mary Birdie, who has a school down here at the beach and has a lot of the local children go to. We are very active with all of the kids' activities. We do a Hook the Future event at least once a year, sometimes twice a year. But there is at least one event every month with children going on the pier. Right now, we're teamed up with Bug Out Services. There is a fishing tournament going on for the largest fish caught each month for June, July, and August. All of the prizes have been provided by Bug Out. This is our 2nd year of doing that with them. Records are kept. There are tapes on the register. One of the reasons that I had the job I have was when I took over, there was some embezzlement going on from the previous manager and the management that was in there. It was a big problem. And all of that, we thought we had handled, and we work on it daily, because it is a problem when you deal with the cash in the public all the time, it's gonna happen. If you've got 3 things going on at one time, a lot of times there's only one person in that office taking money on the inside coming in and on the counter waiting on customers that are getting product, as well as trying to keep up with the telephone and everything else. So a lot of times the girl will put it in their hand, hold it while they're finishing up with another activity, then go to the register and ring both of them. And I'm hoping that's what I'm gonna see today when I go over the tapes. But it is something we monitor and try to stay on top of. But anytime there's a problem, you need to let us know. We don't know there's a problem unless you're saying you've been many times, I've never heard anything about it. I'm available, I live 4 blocks from the pier. I'm in and out of there all times of the day and the night. We work with the city of Jacksonville regularly. The night that our golf cart was stolen off the pier and taken down the end of the pier and run off the pier, I had been there until midnight with a group that Todd Rubin had a movie being done, and was back at 5:30 the next morning to open it up for the public to fish again. So we need to know if there's something going on. I'm available, I have business cards there. You can call me, there's a number you can reach me 24/7. I hear regularly from the police department 24/7 at Jacksonville Beach. But if there's ever a problem, please feel free to call me or let me know, because I don't know how to take care of it if I don't know there's a problem.
Well, that's great, Carol.
Thank you.
Is there anybody here? Is there anybody here? Get that in the leader, would you please? Because we need more publicity for the pier as to what's going on. Kathy Bailey and I talked at length about it today. And it's an asset that's kind of neglected and looked past, and I think we need to put that word out. I didn't know that you were doing that with kids, and that's great. We probably need to even expand that more.
We also do IRU, which is the In River on Ocean, which is the event. We do that every year. They do it with Big Brothers Big Sisters.
What do you call it, Drew?
It's IROO, IROO, and we work with them every year. I also work with Big Brothers and Big Sisters on a different event also, but all of the groups, especially the charitable groups, bring the Children Home Society out, have church groups from all over the area that come in, even from outside of the Jacksonville area to us.
Good. Well, if we don't have any more questions on the pier, let's talk briefly about the ferry. Go from one thing to another. As you are well aware, the governor vetoed the $1 million in there for the ferry, along with $2 million for Jacksonville University and a number of $1.2 million for Salzbacher. There was a whole list of things that he got in the Jacksonville area, actually to the tune of $400 million around the state. Some say it was punishment some of the legislators that didn't toe the mark or go in the direction they wanted, especially on some Medicare thing. But anyway, that being said, it's irrelevant because we were short $1 million. At the same time, what I'm hearing on the operation of the ferry is doing very, very well. I think ridership's up, I was told 30% this year. And I think what that reflects is consistency. You know, anytime you have consistency with something, you're going to build a business. And so we need to come up, we've got $800,000 set aside. This is going to be for capital improvement, capital maintenance really. And so we've got 800 of the $1.8 million that we need in the upcoming budget. I've got somebody that's informally committed to me that if the city, I have proposed that way, so if the city comes up with $500,000, will you kick in the other $500,000? And I got an informal yes, which for me, all they got to do is say it informally, and I feel they're committed. I'll make sure they're committed. So we'll cover the shortfall, I do believe. But I think it leads to a number of other issues. We've got this CRA at Mayport that hopefully by the end of the year will be in place. We can start some meaningful development of Mayport Village and the old Mayport area, which it will cover. The area north of the fork, A1A fork, going up the rest of Mayport Road, certainly could use some economic development and attention. It's sorely needed there. So that will be a great vehicle. And ultimately, we want to make Mayport Village a destination, which will enhance the use of the ferry, obviously, too. My thought is, and my hope is, that our next step will be that we get a grant for a second ferry. Because one of the problems is that when we pull this thing for maintenance every couple of years and whatever repairs are needed, you shut the operation down, because we only got one ferry. Unfortunately, Jacksport took it upon themselves to sell the other ferry for $80-some thousand, which I think in retrospect was not a wicked move, but we can't change that. Now, I don't think the people they sold it to will sell it back to us for $80,000, but who knows? But I think that's going to be the next step, Mitch.
Bill, today I got about 60 seconds of the governor's ear just to ask him about the veto. And he had the same excuse that he had in the paper about we didn't use the money before. Can you clarify that a little bit?
Well, I think it wasn't that we didn't use the money, we didn't use it expeditiously, and I think it was just a timing issue. So I think he's hanging on his hat. I will say that he's coming over here next Tuesday at 9:30 at the Little Jetties in some kind of ribbon cutting ceremony. I hear tell that there may be some people out there, some protesters holding signs, gentle signs, not nasty signs, but gentle signs, to hopefully impress upon him the importance of the ferry to the area. So, just if anybody else happens to be out in that area.
I'm going to interject one thing, just to make sure everybody knows the effort that went in trying to prevent this. About a week before the governor vetoed this element of the budget, Janet Atkins got wind of it and started making phone calls. And Janet's been just a true champion for us, and it breaks my heart that she's turning out. But I think Janet and Aaron and I think you were in it too, did a joint press release. I have the governor's cell phone. I called the governor's cell phone. I texted the governor. I had a hand-delivered message sent to the governor saying, this will affect jobs and businesses in Duval, St. John's, and Nassau counties, and we're begging you, please don't do this. He did it anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a smokescreen, Mitch. That's a shallow excuse.
Yeah.
So.
He punished some legislators.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, including Janet Atkins and Aaron Dean probably on the ferry.
But, the frustrating part for us, of course, is we all share the same constituents, but we're here with you, and he's not, so he's able to get away with that. But anybody else have anything?
Well, this has been fun. Y'all were gentler than I expected. I face tough crowds.
We're not talking. We get it.
Well, the great thing about it, as you well know, I represent the best district by far in the whole city of Jacksonville, because we've got great people at the beach, and they do care about their community, and so engaged, especially this young lady here. She's been a champion for the beaches, and so I think it's important that we stay engaged and keep our eye on them, because they're always looking for a way to get us. So thank you all for coming out tonight.
July 4th police panel. And if you're not a member of Beaches Watch and you'd like to support our efforts, Eileen is at the Beaches Watch table, and she can take your membership. It's only $10 for individuals and $15 for families. And we hope everybody has a safe and happy July 4th.
Sandy, is there any way that you could have a meeting like we do here to invite all the at-large councilmen from downtown? I mean, I don't recall, have you had one?
I think it's a very smart idea. I think
I like
it's a
to
real
see,
good
they
idea.
represent us too, they need to know that we're 5% of the vote.
Absolutely. We can do that. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you.